They scanned our cities from orbit. They intercepted our broadcasts. They measured our wars, our divisions, our fear. And then they made a mistake. They labeled Earth primitive. They declared humanity afraid. They prepared to conquer what they believed was a trembling world. What they didn't understand was this: we were never afraid of the dark. We were learning to command it. They labeled Earth primitive and afraid. We commanded the void. The first transmission arrived without warning. No fairy descent. No thunderous invasion. No dramatic beams tearing across the sky. Just a signal, precise, cold, mathematical. It appeared simultaneously in observatories across the globe, from Chile's deserts to Antarctica's frozen silence. The message was embedded in neutrino pulses, impossible to fake, impossible to ignore. It translated itself. That was the first insult. Planetary civilization classified primitive. Psychological baseline fear-driven. Expansion capability negligible. Resource claim authorized. No threats, no negotiation. Just a verdict. The world watched in stunned silence as telescopes pivoted toward the outer edges of our solar system. There they were, dark geometric vessels parked beyond Pluto, arranged in deliberate formation. Not drifting. Waiting for us to react. Governments panicked quietly. Militaries activated contingency plans they had secretly drafted decades earlier. Religious leaders called for prayer. Markets crashed in 12 minutes. Humanity's first unified emotion was not rage. It was humiliation. Primitive. Afraid. The words echoed across social media newsrooms, parliaments, classrooms. Analysts dissected the language. Linguists debated the tone. Psychologists studied the phrasing. The aliens, who later identified themselves only as the Dominion, had not merely observed us. They had judged us. And in their infinite arrogance, they believed they understood us. The arrogance of empires. For 3 days, there was silence. Then they spoke again. A projection materialized in Earth's orbit. A shimmering lattice of light visible to the naked eye at night. A monument of impossible geometry. The message was clear: surrender planetary authority. Assimilation will minimize suffering. The Dominion displayed holographic archives of other civilizations they had absorbed. Worlds that resisted were shown in ruins. Worlds that complied were shown in sterile order. It was psychological warfare at a galactic scale. But they had miscalculated something fundamental. They thought fear made us weak. They didn't understand that fear makes humans inventive. What they didn't see: the Dominion had monitored our wars, our conflicts, our endless arguments. They saw chaos. They didn't see resilience. They saw nations divided. They didn't see cooperation beneath crisis. They saw weapons. They didn't see imagination. Because what the Dominion couldn't measure was humanity's most dangerous trait: defiance born from adversity. While the world's leaders held emergency summits, something extraordinary happened beneath the noise. Scientists stopped competing. Rivals began sharing classified research. Private corporations opened patents. Engineers from former enemy nations met in underground facilities and worked side by side. For the first time in history, survival eclipsed ego. And that terrified the Dominion more than missiles ever could. The Void Initiative, hidden within encrypted networks, was a program that had existed in fragments for years. Theoretical propulsion systems, experimental quantum reactors, gravitational manipulation research deemed or possible by mainstream physics. The Dominion believed we were centuries away from true interstellar capability. They were wrong, because desperation compresses centuries into months. The Void Initiative was born in secrecy. Its purpose was not defense, it was dominance. While the Dominion prepared orbital platforms to enforce compliance, humanity did something unexpected. We went silent. All broadcasts ceased, satellites powered down, military radar signatures vanished. The planet appeared to surrender. The Dominion interpreted this as confirmation of their assessment. Primitive. Afraid. They began descent preparations, and that was when we struck. Commanding the dark, the first void vessel didn't launch from Earth. It emerged. A distortion tore open near Saturn's rings, not an explosion, but a fold in space itself. Out of it slid a ship unlike anything humanity had ever publicly revealed. Angular. Silent. Surrounded by a gravitational lensing field that bent starlight around it. The Dominion's sensors spiked in confusion. Another fold opened near Jupiter, then one beyond Mars. Human vessels materialized across the solar system simultaneously. Not rockets, not crude chemical engines, void drives. Technology reverse, engineered from theoretical physics the Dominion had dismissed as primitive speculation. We had weaponized curiosity. The Dominion's formation shifted. For the first time, their ships repositioned defensively. Their next transmission arrived fractured. Technological leap inconsistent with observed trajectory. Explain. Humanity responded with its first unified message to the stars. You measured our past. You did not account for our potential. Shock and awe in silence, the void vessels didn't fire weapons. They didn't need to. They manipulated gravity. Dominion ships, once stationary monoliths of power, began drifting off alignment as localized gravitational wells destabilized their formations. It was elegant, precise, devastating. Human engineers had discovered that the Dominion relied on predictable space-time stability for their energy matrices. We turned stability into chaos. One Dominion vessel attempted to retreat. It folded space. Our ships folded faster. Because we had studied their entry signatures for days. We learned. We adapted. We improved. That is what they failed to understand. Humans evolve in real time. The moment they felt fear, Dominion transmissions changed tone. No longer declarative. Now reactive. Their ships began defensive maneuvers. Energy fields flared. We broadcast a single line across every frequency. Primitive. Afraid. Then we demonstrated the opposite. A coordinated gravitational surge disabled 3 Dominion flagships without destroying them. We left them intact, drifting, powerless, humiliated. Because this was not annihilation, it was a message. The Dominion had never encountered a civilization that leaped forward under pressure instead of collapsing. Their historical models predicted surrender or self-destruction. They had not modeled unity. Humanity's true weapon, it wasn't the void drive. It wasn't gravitational manipulation. It wasn't even strategy. It was unpredictability. Humans don't follow clean evolutionary arcs. We fracture. We rebuild. We argue. We innovate. Our strength is messy, and that chaos is impossible to quantify. The Dominion relied on predictive algorithms spanning millennia of conquered species. But no species they encountered had art born from suffering. No species had revolutions sparked by injustice. No species had survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, nuclear brinkmanship, and kept creating. They thought fear paralyzed us. They didn't realize fear fuels us. Turning the orbit into a battlefield of ideas, the Dominion attempted negotiation. For the first time, reclassification in progress, clarify intent. We clarified. Humanity did not seek assimilation. We did not seek extinction. We sought recognition. We demanded parity. Our void vessels encircled their fleet, not in aggression, but in dominance. For 12 hours, silence reigned in space. Then something unprecedented occurred. Dominion vessels began transmitting raw data, their archives, their histories, their conquered knowledge. It was not surrender. It was acknowledgement. They had encountered an anomaly. Us, commanding the void was never empty. It was waiting. waiting for a species reckless enough to challenge it, bold enough to explore it, stubborn enough to refuse cosmic hierarchy. The Dominion labeled us primitive. But primitive species do not bend gravity. Primitive species do not unite across centuries of division. Primitive species do not stare into infinite darkness and decide to master it. We did. And in doing so, we rewrote our destiny. The aftermath, the Dominion withdrew beyond Pluto. Not defeated, but recalibrating. Humanity remained vigilant. The Void Initiative became public. Earth transformed overnight. Investments in science surged. Education was revolutionized. Global cooperation became strategic necessity rather than idealism. For the first time, we saw ourselves not as nations, but as a species. We were no longer reacting to the universe. We were shaping it. And somewhere beyond the Kuiper Belt, the Dominion updated their classification. Not afraid, unpredictable, dangerous, emergent. The truth that shocks the universe, the most terrifying force in existence, is not advanced weaponry. It is underestimated potential. History is written by those who refuse the labels imposed upon them. Empires fall when arrogance blinds them. The Dominion believed Earth was small. They forgot that stars are born from collapse. Pressure ignites power. And humanity has endured unimaginable pressure. We did not just survive first contact. We dominated it. We commanded the void. If this story ignited something inside you, if you believe humanity's greatest strength is not technology but resilience, if you know that being underestimated is the ultimate advantage, then share this story. Because the universe belongs not to the strongest, not to the oldest, but to those bold enough to challenge it. Humanity was labeled primitive. We answered by commanding the void. And this is only the beginning.